Fatima was a rare gem, beautiful, brilliant, kind-hearted, and loved by everyone in her village. Her heart belonged to Ibrahim, and his to us. They were inseparable, their love deep and true. As they grew closer, their bond strengthened. After years of courtship, they crowned their love in a lavish village wedding that left tongues wagging and hearts envious. Ibrahim beamed with pride as he gazed at his bride. For a while, life was blissful. They settled into a cozy home, surrounded by loving family and friends. Ibrahim's hard work and dedication made him a successful farmer. Their love continued to grow, and they found joy in simple things. But time, with its twists, brought unexpected sorrow. Ibrahim decided to take another wife. The weight of expectation from his family and community bore down on him, and he felt trapped. Despite Fatima's love and devotion, he believed that taking another wife would bring him the family and legacy he desired. Fatima was crushed. She had given her heart and soul to Ibrahim, and the thought of sharing him with another woman was unbearable. She felt like she was losing her identity as Ibrahim's wife. She had no children yet, and though every doctor said she was healthy, her womb remained silent. The pressure to produce an heir mounted, and Fatima felt like she was failing Ibrahim and herself. She began to wonder if she was somehow flawed, if there was something fundamentally wrong with her. She felt betrayed, unloved, and alone. The love and affection that Ibrahim had once showered her with seemed to be dwindling. Fatima's heart ached, and she didn't know how to bridge the gap between them. As Ibrahim's decision became clearer, Fatima's world began to crumble. The thought of another woman in Ibrahim's life was a constant reminder of her own inadequacies, and she struggled to come to terms with the new reality. Then came Hawa, the second wife. At first, she was sweet, respectful even. She would often help Fatima with household chores, and the two women would engage in polite conversations. Fatima, despite her reservations, tried to make the best of the situation. She hoped that Hawa would become a friend, a confidant, and a partner in her marriage. But everything changed after Hawa bore a child. Pride replaced humility, and Hawa's demeanor shifted dramatically. She began to flaunt the child, boasting about its health and beauty. Fatima, still struggling with her own infertility, felt a pang of sadness and inadequacy. Hawa's words, once laced with kindness, now dripped with venom. Hawa turned cruel, her words sharp, her actions bitter. She would often make snide comments about Fatima's childlessness, insinuating that Fatima was somehow flawed. She lied about Fatima, spread rumors and twisted truths. Fatima's reputation in the village began to suffer, and she felt like she was losing herself in the process. Ibrahim, blinded by Hawa's deceit and the joy of fatherhood, turned cold towards Fatima. He began to believe Hawa's lies, and his affections for Fatima waned. Fatima felt like she was losing her husband, a partner, and her best friend. She tried to reason with Ibrahim to make him say the truth, but he was too far gone. As the days turned into weeks, Fatima's pain only intensified. She felt like she was walking on eggshells, never knowing when Hawa would strike again. She began to doubt her own worth, her own value in the marriage. The love and affection that once filled their home were now replaced with tension and hostility. Fatima's only solace was her faith and her prayers. She would often cry out to God, begging for justice, for hope, and for love to find her again. She chose to focus on her own healing, her own growth, and her own relationship with God. And then heaven moved. Fatima became pregnant. The news was like a ray of sunshine after a long dark night. She felt a sense of joy and wonder that she had never experienced before. But Hawa, burning with envy, couldn't bear the thoughts of Fatima's happiness. She had grown accustomed to being the center of attention, and Fatima's pregnancy threatened to upend her world. Hawa began to plot against Fatima. She tried everything to make Fatima lose the child. She would push her down the stairs, hoping that the fall would trigger a miscarriage. She would poison her food, subtly adding ingredients that would harm the fetus. But Fatima was covered by divine protection. The child in her womb clung to life like a flame refusing to go out. Despite Hawa's evil plans, Fatima's pregnancy progressed smoothly. She knew that God was watching over her and her unborn child. As Fatima belly grew, so did Hawa's anger. She became more and more desperate, her actions more erratic, but Fatima remained calm and focused on her pregnancy. She knew that she was carrying a precious life and she was determined to protect it at all costs. The tension between Fatima and Hawa continued to build, with Hawa's malice knowing no bounds, but Fatima's faith and determination kept her going. And then the day of reckoning arrived. One quiet evening, the village cobbler stormed into Ibrahim's compound, demanding to see his child. The same child Hawa had claimed was Ibrahim's. The cobbler's face was red with anger and his eyes blazed with a fierce determination. "I want to see the child," he thundered, his voice echoing through the compound. Ibrahim, taken aback by the cobbler's sudden arrival, hesitated for a moment before calling for Hawa to bring the child. Hawa, sensing trouble, tried to hide behind the veil of innocence, but it was too late. The cobbler's eyes locked onto the child, and he let out a loud cry of recognition. "This is my child," he exclaimed, his voice filled with emotion. "Hawa, you deceitful woman, how could you lie about the child's paternity?" The village elder, who had been summoned to witness the confrontation, shook his head in disgust. "Hawa, your actions are a shame to our village," he said. "You have brought dishonor to Ibrahim's family and to yourself." Apparently, she had been in a secret relationship with the cobbler while married to Ibrahim and had borne a child for the cobbler, but kept it as a secret. The villagers who had once admired Hawa's beauty and charm now shunned her. She was cast out, her shame echoing through every compound. The sound of jeers and mocking laughter followed her as she slunk away, her head hung in shame. Ibrahim, realizing his grave mistake, felt a deep sense of regret. He knew that he had hurt Fatima deeply and was determined to make amends. Fatima, who had been watching the scene unfold, felt a mix of emotions. She was relieved that the truth had finally come out, but she was also sad that it had taken so long. Ibrahim fell to his knees, begging Fatima for forgiveness. Fatima, seeing the genuine remorse in his eyes, knew that he was truly sorry for his mistakes. With tears in her eyes and grace in her heart, she forgave him. Soon after the whole issue had died down, Fatima gave birth to a beautiful baby boy, a miracle, a joy, a proof that heaven listens. The baby's arrival brought new life to the compound, and Fatima's heart was filled with joy and gratitude. She gazed lovingly at her child, feeling a deep sense of connection and purpose. The village celebrated the arrival of the new baby, and Fatima's heart swelled with happiness. The villagers who had once whispered about Fatima's childlessness now showered her with congratulations and admiration. But more importantly, she reveled in the love she shared with her child and her husband.